Although young Sheldon's spin-off Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage has big shoes to fill, its first trailer proves one fear is unfounded. When young Sheldon's finale aired, it was not clear where the sitcom franchise would head next. It had been 5 years since The Big Bang Theory's finale arrived in 2019, and in the intervening time, young Sheldon made Sheldon's family just as beloved as the original show's gang of nerdy friends. Young Sheldon's spin-off Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage was set to arrive later in 2024, but it wasn't clear how the show would avoid feeling more like a continuation. As more news of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage arrived, this problem only seemed to grow worse. Young Sheldon's Mary, Missy, and Meemaw were all confirmed to return for Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, meaning the show would bring back almost all the central cast from The Big Bang Theory's first spin-off. Admittedly, Sheldon himself would not be present, but since George Sr. had already died in young Sheldon's antepenultimate episode, it was hard not to see the new show as a sequel rather than a spin-off. Luckily, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage's first trailer successfully allays these fears. Despite how many members of the Cooper family will return for the new show, the first trailer for Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage focuses entirely on Georgie, Mandy, and Mandy's parents. Instead of highlighting Mary, Meemaw, and Missy's roles on the show, the promo for Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage makes it clear that the relationship between Montana Jordan's well-meaning Georgie and Emily Osment's sardonic Mandy will be the spin-off's primary focus. This is hugely reassuring, since the success of young Sheldon would have made an indirect continuation an understandable, if regrettable, choice by its creators. Even the title of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage points out the unique premise of the series. As far back as The Big Bang Theory Season 11, Episode 23, The Sibling Realignment, Sheldon's older brother Georgie mentioned an ex-wife in passing. Since then, young Sheldon needed to shape Georgie's future around the preordained reality that he would end up divorced. As such, like How I Met Your Mother before it, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage is technically a sitcom whose ending is already set in stone. It would have been a shame to sacrifice this solely to continue young Sheldon. That said, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage can still benefit from bringing back Mary, Meemaw, and Missy. Young Sheldon never got to wrap up their storylines, with the show only introducing Mary's trademark obsessive religious zealotry in its finale and forgetting Missy's teenage rebellion throughout most of its 7th season. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage can justify Meemaw's character shift between young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory after the ending of Season 7 failed to do this, and Missy's return can explain how she fared in high school without Sheldon around. However, these storylines should just be subplots in the larger world of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. Mandy struggled to relate to Missy in young Sheldon's final episodes, and the strained relationship between the two sisters-in-law could be part of the pressure that the titular marriage comes under. Similarly, Mary's intense piety unsettles Georgie in young Sheldon's finale, so his attempts to intervene in his mother's life might cause further fights between him and Mandy. With this sort of storytelling, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage could utilize young Sheldon's returning supporting stars to advance its own plot. Of course, one character looms large over Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. Sheldon was the star of both The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, so viewers will naturally want to see the boy genius return in the spin-off. Many of young Sheldon's best quotes came from the character, and he is still the face of the franchise. However, it is precisely this fame and popularity that makes Sheldon's potential comeback a double-edged sword for the series. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage could easily overshadow its own stars by bringing back Sheldon's teenage self. Sitcom spin-offs need time to establish their new leads. Frasier couldn't constantly rely on characters from Cheers, and young Sheldon waited a few years before bringing back The Big Bang Theory stars, even for voice-over cameos. As such, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage needs to establish its own tone and style before risking Sheldon's return. While Georgie's brother could put in a highly hyped guest appearance, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage shouldn't feature young Sheldon's title character until the spin-off's first Christmas episode at the very earliest. In the world of young Sheldon, fans have watched the quirky brilliance of Sheldon Cooper evolved from an incredibly gifted but socially awkward child into an equally brilliant and sometimes still socially awkward young adult. However, as the show has delved deeper into the narrative of Sheldon's life and the relationships around him, young Sheldon has also provided intriguing subplots about his family's evolving dynamic. One storyline that caught the attention of viewers was Georgie Cooper, Sheldon's older brother, and his relationship with Mandy. In a stunning revelation that left fans buzzing, the trailer for Georgie and Mandy's first marriage shows a resolution to a long-standing concern about their relationship that has been a hot topic of debate. Throughout the earlier seasons of young Sheldon, viewers have witnessed Georgie's complicated life unfold. His romantic relationships, especially his relationship with Mandy, have raised concerns about the future of their union. Would their tumultuous start lead to a long-lasting partnership, or would it fall apart as quickly as it began? For fans who have followed Georgie's journey, the trailer for their first marriage brings a sigh of relief, but also a deeper sense of curiosity as it debunks some of the most pressing concerns about their future. The tension of Georgie and Mandy's relationship. When Georgie and Mandy were first introduced on young Sheldon, their relationship was far from ideal. They were a mismatched couple, and many fans were skeptical that they could make it work. Georgie, known for his rebellious and sometimes careless nature, was in sharp contrast to Mandy, who came across as independent, strong-willed, and, at times, overly cautious. However, in a shocking twist, the two found themselves in a sticky situation when Mandy unexpectedly became pregnant. The pregnancy threw Georgie for a loop, complicating an already complicated relationship. What followed was a series of moments that had fans questioning whether Georgie and Mandy would be able to weather the storm or if they would buckle under the pressure. For a while, it seemed like young Sheldon was setting up the possibility that Georgie and Mandy's relationship was destined to be short-lived. The couple often clashed over their differing approaches to life, and Georgie's impulsive actions led to constant conflict. However, as the season progressed, it became clear that these two characters weren't just going to be a passing subplot. Instead, they were becoming central to the series' emotional narrative, adding an extra layer of drama and depth to the family dynamics. The major concern: could their relationship survive? One of the major concerns that fans had when it came to Georgie and Mandy was the question of whether they were truly compatible in the long run. From the very beginning of their relationship, there seemed to be a disconnect. While Mandy was trying to be responsible and level-headed, Georgie seemed to be drifting through life without a clear sense of direction. This disparity in maturity and approach to life raised the question: would Georgie be able to step up and become the partner and father that Mandy needed? Or would his immaturity tear them apart before they had a chance to truly build a life together? The looming question of whether they would ever truly reconcile their differences and find a way to make things work hung over the show for seasons. For many, this uncertainty was the major source of tension. Fans were invested in seeing Georgie grow and evolve into someone who could embrace the responsibility that came with being a partner and parent. The trailers for Georgie and Mandy's wedding, however, offer a compelling answer to this concern. The newly released footage suggests that the couple is not only making their relationship work, but doing so in a way that is both heartwarming and surprising. It's a rare moment of clarity and redemption in a show that has often dealt with the messiness of relationships. What the first marriage trailer reveals. When the trailer for Georgie and Mandy's first marriage was released, it took fans by surprise. This was not the chaotic, tense event that many had anticipated. Instead, the trailer showed a surprising level of maturity and growth from both characters, especially Georgie. The trailer opens with a quiet, intimate scene between Georgie and Mandy. Their interactions are tender, showing a side of their relationship that many viewers had not seen before. Georgie, once the immature and reckless older brother, is now stepping up in a way that showcases his newfound responsibility. He is taking the wedding seriously, but even more significantly, he is taking his role as a partner seriously. This was perhaps the most striking aspect of the trailer: Georgie's growth.